Good evening. Here is the second half of our double feature tonight. We're going to go Tuesday Night Live. Got something special and fun for you. Hey, Dalton. Nice to see you. Love, Natasha. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us, y'all. Cycle Suspension, #1 sponsor. Tessa, what's up? Maddie, good to see you again. Jenna, what's up, guys? Done. Hey, seeing some new faces tonight. Noah. Good to see you, Sheriff Hertford. So, we're going to let people get going here. Dirt Fam, good to see you. For those of you who are new, basically it's just kind of a live conversation between me and whomever I've decided to pick on for the week. And actually, this was volunteered by Eric last week during our live. And so Eric and his brother Brian are going to join us here in a bit. And we're going to talk about their escapades and adventures as motocross racing brothers. But before we do that, I do want to do a couple of shout outs. Today is Giving Day. And my personal charity of choice, if you can, find one and donate, time, whatever, is Texas Husky Rescue, as we all know. I love the Huskies and I volunteer for them. So I donated to them today. If you can't, don't worry about it. There are always other giving days that you can support, but we have lots of charities and organizations that are reaching out, especially during COVID. So if you know of some organizations that are helping people in your community that are near and dear to your heart, please pick a charity and donate to them. So it's only 7:03, so let's give people a little more time to join with us. Now, I've done something here tonight, and I haven't seen my boys Eric and Brian join yet. So I need them to let me know when they're on. So this is the first time I will have interviewed two people as well at the same time. So I'm waiting to see them come on. But I've done something a little different. I have not sent them any questions. They have no idea what I'm going to ask them. Normally, I will send questions to my potential victims to kind of give them a heads up of what we're going to talk about. But I thought this would be a little more fun, especially since we've got the two of them there. All right, my boys are here. Guys, I think we're going to have a good time, so I'm going to go ahead and get us rolling. We've already got a lot of people who've joined in and been waving and saying hi, so I'm going to send you the invite. Let's rock and roll, fellas. There you are. It says you guys are unable to join. What'd you do? Okay, you guys got to send me the invite. I can't invite you. Or do we need to do it through Brian's? Tell me what I need to do for you guys, because it won't let me invite Eric and Brian at Mammoth. I love technology. Should I do Ian Sizel 26? Is that who I should invite? Tell me who I need to invite, guys. Because apparently, there we go. Here we go. All right. All right. I think we got Brian coming in here for the win to help us out. And while we're going through this, y'all, if you got questions, throw them up there. If I catch them before they scroll away, I will definitely ask the fellas what's up. We're waiting on the boys to join right now. I've sent them the invite. But like I said, I didn't give them any idea what I was going to talk to them about. And I have a special surprise at the end for them, too. It should be fun. But we're having technical difficulties, which we had last night with Maddie. Maddie's signal kept going out, so we had to kick her out and bring her back in several times. Brian, I may cancel you and then invite you myself, since it's waiting here. Gotta love technology. Let me see, I got another one up. All right. Requests, let's go. I love all that dead air too, dead time while we're waiting. So ask me questions while we're waiting for the fellas to join. Hello, Will. How are you doing? Why don't you guys let me know where you're all from? I see a lot of new faces. I'm assuming y'all are friends of Eric's and Brian's. Hey, Claw, you're just in time. So tell me where you guys are coming from. Um, and just so you know, if you've just joined, Girls Who Ride, there we go. Where's those slow old guys? I know, right? I'm waiting for them to join us. We're having technical difficulties. Um, I did something a little different this time. Normally, I will send a list of questions to my guests. I did not do that this time. I thought I would totally throw curveballs at these boys and see what happens with them. But I can't get them in. You work with Eric? Cool. Brian works at one of my home shops, Denton Cycle Center of Denton. Okay, Brian's unable to join too. What you guys do to, oh, here we go. Eric and Brian, let's see if we can get them in. Anyway, Brian works at one of my home shops, Cycle Center of Denton. There we go. There's my boys. Hey, fellas.
Hey.
All right, so introduce yourselves. I know which is which, but tell everybody else. Which one of you is Brian?
The short one.
I'm the short one, Brian.
The short one, and so then that means you must be Eric.
I'm Eric.
All right, so I don't know if you heard me saying, but normally I send people a list of questions, but we're going to free for all this. I didn't send y'all anything. So, and I do want to point out something really cool since this is at least North Texas Giving Day. Brian's growing his hair out because he's going to donate it where?
To Wigs for Kids.
That's awesome. Wigs for Kids. That's really cool. So what kind of came up is last week during live, Eric popped on and said, hey, you could interview us because I asked for suggestions and topics. Last year, Eric and Brian were traipsing around the country trying to qualify for races. And I know one of them was Mammoth. And I didn't even creep or stalk much of you guys. I just thought we'd just, free for all and figure it out. So my first question, who's older?
The one with more gray.
Can you tell?
Gray.
Yeah, it's me.
Hey, you know what? I'm not going to get myself in trouble.
Yeah.
And my picture just disappeared, y'all.
Uh-oh.
I mean, you don't have to look at me. It's okay.
Yeah, we can do this. Go ahead.
I don't mind. Dang, what is the deal with technical issues tonight?
There you go.
Okay. It flipped on me. That's what it did. I didn't even touch it. There we go.
There you go.
All right. So anyway.
I'm older. I turned 40 right before the race, right before Mammoth Motocross.
Dude, you're a pup.
I wish.
All right. Well, then, Brian,
So that's the guys I work with.
Sorry.
Brian, how old are you?
36.
36, okay. Do you have any other siblings?
Yeah, we have one other brother. He rides too, but he kind of just got back into it after probably maybe 15, 20 years of a hiatus. And so got back into it recently.
Okay, so you're embarrassed by his presence and
yes, we are.
him, right? Okay. All right.
And his defense, he didn't start riding until right before Mammoth.
Okay.
And,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, Mammoth's one of those races you don't want to go on when you're 2 weeks in riding.
No. All right,
Yeah.
So when did you guys start riding? Who got you into it? Give us that basic background story.
We've kind of grown up on motorcycles.
Mm-hmm.
My dad bought me an XR80 when I was about 5 or 6 back home in California, and I grew up riding that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had a CR80 and rode that to the ground, and then all three of us kind of rode.
Yeah.
So we started pretty young, and then I stopped when I moved to Texas and had my kids and all that stuff. I didn't want to get hurt, so I stopped from the time I was 20 till about 35, 36.
Oh, wow. So you've just gotten back into it then.
Yeah. When Brian moved to Texas, he brought his bike and started it up one day, and I was like, okay, I'm in.
That's all it takes.
That's all it took, yeah.
It never really leaves you. It just kind of goes to sleep for a while. Mm-hmm. So what about Dad? Did he ride at all, or was he involved?
Dad rode when he was a kid,
mm-hmm.
a bit in his early 20s, I guess, but he didn't ride when we started riding. I think I've only seen him ride once.
Oh, wow.
Ride a bike when I was probably 14. But yeah, he's never really ridden. He had a TW 200 back in Mammoth that he'd ride to the grocery store back. That was about it.
It was the grocery getter.
Yeah.
I love it.
So,
All right. So when did
but
you guys? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
Here's a typical moto dad. When I was racing motocross from my young teens till, well, my younger years till my late teens, he was the one always yelling in turns and stuff.
Oh, he'd make us do figure eights till our feet fell off.
Yeah.
You know, I hear that story from everybody. I started doing figure eights, and
yeah.
Well, all right. So how old were you all when you started racing then?
Oh shoot, I was probably 15, 16.
Okay.
I think I did my first race probably around 8 to 10-ish.
Yeah.
I don't remember an exact date, but yeah.
I was 17 when I started racing. So, which, as we all know by now, that 17 is too late if you ever want to go somewhere or be somebody. But it's okay.
We just did it for fun. There was no no, you know, well, we're gonna be the next, you know, Jeremy McGrath. Those all just go out there, have some fun on the weekends, and you know, do our thing.
All right, so Eric, we know you started on the XR, right?
Yeah.
Brian, what'd you start on?
PW50, like most moto kids.
Did you have training wheels?
No, my dad made us ride bicycles a lot before we got to ride a motorcycle, and then then we just moved to the PW. It was the first one, so it was a PW50, and then I think it jumped from that to like a KDX80.
Yeah.
And then to a YZ80 was the first motocross bike that I got into.
That's pretty cool. Do you have either of those bikes, or are they long gone?
Long gone.
I know, right? All right. Well, so let's go ahead and talk 2019. And I have several questions. My first question is, how did this whole idea come about? I mean, were y'all just sitting around campfire one night? Or because, you know, your Instagram page is AricandBrianDoMammoth?
Yeah.
Is that okay? So how was this idea born?
So I'd done Mammoth probably 3 times before, because I lived in Mammoth for probably 13 years.
Okay.
Yeah, before I moved to Texas, and I'd done it a few times, and we moved out to Texas, and since I moved to Texas, I'd done it once before. Went back home, visited my parents and stuff to do it. And then, it just happened to be the next year I was able to do it. Decided to do it. Eric decided he wanted to do it as well. So we made this page just kind of follow along, like the training that we did. And
was it like training or beer drinking? I'm not sure about that.
We got some Bud Light.
All right. Well, just for the sake of some folks, maybe the younger riders or the off-road riders, where and what is Mammoth? I know, but tell everybody what Mammoth is.
It's the second largest amateur race in the nation.
To Loretta's.
It's the only one bigger. And it spans a 2-week period, and it starts out the first week as the vets, and then the second week is when you get into the younger riders and the more aspiring professionals. Mm-hmm. And it's a race that's up in the hills. I mean, you wouldn't even know the track was there unless you were going there on purpose, or you knew about it because it's tucked in the hills.
Yeah, it's a true natural outdoor track.
Oh yeah, and it's 8,000 feet. Was it right at 8,000 feet? So at high altitude.
Oh wow!
From motocross. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's a neat track. We knew about it because back in the late 90s, it was actually open to the public for free. Mm-hmm. And it was always groomed, always watered. And you could go out there on any day as long as there wasn't snow on the ground and ride it. Mm-hmm. And so we went out there a couple times when we were kids and rode it. And then, it became a thing, I guess, for years. And it was one of our kind of bucket list items because it's such it's so cool.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right. So you guys decide, hey, let's go race Mammoth. What was that in like January, February of last year? Because this all happened last year, right?
Yeah. The race was last year. We started planning it.
We started the Instagram in just November, December.
It was like November. Yeah, about November of the previous year.
Okay.
I think we put photos of us with Santa up. I think it was one of the first things we did.
Okay. Yeah, and I love those. I love the fact that you guys don't take yourselves seriously. I love it.
No, we're not. Yeah.
All right. So actually, this was born in 2018. And did you guys sit down and start making out lists? Did you start talking to people about? Because I mean, Mammoth, where's it located? We never
California.
It's
Okay.
so if you look at California, where if you know where Lake Tahoe's at,
Okay.
it's about a 3 hour drive south of Lake Tahoe,
So
5 hour drive north of Los Angeles.
yeah.
It's kind of isolated. It's all by itself. And when I lived there, the nearest Walmart you had was a 3.5 hour drive.
Wow.
The town's only 2 square miles, so it's a little tiny hill mountain, just mountain town, all by itself. So yeah.
All right. So let's talk about I mean, before you could even set goals or anything else, I mean, you guys really had to sit down and plan this, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So talk about the planning and the decisions. And did you guys get into fights? Give us the deets here. Don't hold back.
We don't, do we fight? We don't really fight. I mean, just
Okay.
normal brother banter,
Just making fun of each
making
other.
fun of each other, and
Okay.
he calls me slow. I call him short. Like it just goes back and forth.
I'd rather be fast.
Wardy is short. Wardy is short and fast, and so is Carmine.
Yeah.
So
Being 6'3" is not exactly conducive to riding a dirt bike, but it's
no,
all
it's not. Man.
No, I mean, it was all pretty. No, we never really fought over anything. It was just like, okay, let's do it. Let's just go for it. And
So is one of you a list maker by any chance? I mean, do you guys have like skills and characteristics that complemented each other in planning this? Because this isn't something you could just in one day go, okay, let's go to the store, let's hit the road tomorrow. You had to plan stuff out.
Yeah, as it got a little closer, and we kind of figured out the dates, because we knew the dates. We have friends that kind of do the motocross and stuff, so we knew the dates where we needed to get in for our like pick our classes and everything. But it was more of a like kind of getting things organized. Is like we ended up like getting a trailer. And
Okay.
And then that was pretty much the big one, is getting like figuring out like what days we can go to get out there, and
time off work, because
Right.
he drove. We knew he was going to drive, and then I knew I was going to fly. So it was okay. What day does he get there with the bikes, and then I fly in. Parents come get me, get us there, and get everything sorted and situated and everything. So there was a little bit of planning, but because we have a lot of resources back home, it wasn't, we didn't have to like line up condos or anything like that.
Right.
It was getting there, getting the trucks there, or the bikes there, and going for it.
Yeah, we're lucky enough that the parents still live there. So we were able to just kind of stay at their house and kind of use that.
Hey, no, that works. I mean, that saved money, because that's a 2-day drive, right?
Yeah. Because my wife and I, when we drove out together, and we did it in one shot. It was 22 hours straight of driving with the trailer, and then we got there and like slept for a day, and I think we were there total like around 12 days. So I was able to like go mountain biking and stuff and kind of get out to the elevation there, which was a kind of
you posted pictures too of on the mountain bikes.
Yeah, so we did that, and that really helped. So where Eric kind of flew in a few days before.
Yeah, I flew on Wednesday, and practice was I flew out on Thursday, and practice was Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That sucked.
Wow. So let's talk finances. Did you recruit any sponsors? Because I know this wasn't cheap. Especially if you were there for 12 days, even if you were staying with family, you still got to eat and stuff.
So, I mean, the food and stuff was pretty easy. And when I'm out in California, I live on tacos and margaritas, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So that's not hard.
When you're staying with your
race
parents,
menu of champions.
Yeah, I mean, so that was it for food, and lodging was covered.
Yeah.
And then over the course of just kind of knowing people around town, and then with our Instagram, with people kind of following us, it was probably within, I would say, like a month after we started the Instagram, and people started seeing like kind of a progression of it and what we were doing. We started getting people offer us stuff.
I see Lucky 7 Landscaping.
Yeah, that's our brother's landscaping. So if you need landscaping or any type of work done around, he's your guy. Lucky 7 Landscaping.
Okay.
Wes and Caesar's a good guy. Yeah. He's slow, but he's good. He's decent dude. And then who else? So like we got help from Brian because he works at Cycle Center. So Cycle Center helped us out a bunch.
I gotta give a shout out to those boys. We've been riding out of that shop for since Kenny had to work behind the parts counter. That's how long we've been there. But I can't say enough good stuff about the shop in general. They're a good group of guys.
No, they treat us super well when we go in there, and treat Brian real well. So yeah, we couldn't say a negative thing about those guys at Cycle Center.
Definitely
And
not.
he knows Mikey.
Yeah, so we got helped out with Mikey Moore, who's the Bell Helmets rep and
Okay.
House rep. He was real helpful with us with getting us helmets and all of our gear needs set for there.
Nice.
Then,
Well, speaking of gear, since you brought it up, I did creeper stalk enough of your Instagram that you had kind of a poll competition. You let your followers pick the gear that y'all were going to buy.
Oh yeah, the jerseys.
Yeah.
Oh, that was brutal because okay, so Brian picked out was it 3?
Yeah, 3 different jerseys.
It was black with like stars on the arms, and one was red and one was purple.
Mm-hmm.
And I was against the purple. I was like, I will look like Grimace wearing purple. I'm not about the purple. And he put that up, and I think it went our way, right?
Yeah, so we put that up, and we decided because we couldn't decide. So we put a poll up, and we're like, we'll leave it up to anyone that's following along, and thought it would be kind of fun to do. And the purple was actually leading the way until maybe it was like an hour before we decided to cut it off.
Yeah.
And it ended up going with this. I forget the name of the jersey, but it was black with red stars on it and stuff, and it ended up looking really good because one of our friends, Tom McNeil, custom painted our helmets for us, and they look like they were Top Gun themed helmets. So it ended up tying together really cool.
Yeah, that wouldn't have gone well with purple and gray.
No,
it was horrible.
Well, all right, well,
so mad.
So let's talk about Mammoth itself right now. Both of you were riding. What classes? Were you in the same class? Were you age class?
Thank God, no. I was in 40C.
Okay.
Because I turned 40 2 weeks before the race, so I was the young guy in the old guy class.
Okay.
Which I was pretty pumped about. I was like, okay, I was 40 years old. Like, this would be a cool little bucket list thing. And then Brian, what did you ride? 30?
Yeah, I rode 30C. So
okay.
Both C riders. We're more about fun than speed.
Yeah.
Right. And you do have spectacular get-offs unintentionally. So
yeah.
All right, so let's talk about practice and how did practice go? Was it clean? Did we have any issues? I'm sure you guys had a really good advantage having lived there. So jetting for the altitude, I'm sure you guys already had a lot of good knowledge. Yeah.
Well, on the 4 strokes, we didn't really have to do much on the jetting. They're all fuel injected, so we really. There's a few companies up there that'll do. They give you like maps and stuff. You can go and get a map adjusted and stuff. But for our kind of level, we fired up the bikes and we rode like a couple days before, made sure they were running. And
they started, so we were.
Yeah.
Is that kind of like when you go up into the mountains? You acclimated for 24 hours and you let the bikes acclimate.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And what's cool about that race is all the major brands are up there with their semis. And if you have something wrong with your bike, you roll it up to them. And as long as it's not like a complete engine overhaul, they'll help you out and fix it pretty much free of charge. Yeah. It's a huge event. So they're all there to help you out. And, I rode a Kawasaki. So they'll tell you on my bike at a coupler, what color coupler to run and all that good stuff. So there's a lot of support up there. It's not a free for all.
So guesstimate, first off, between the entire 2 weeks, about how many racers are we talking about? Give or take.
There
was on our weekend that we were there was it 18 races? There's 18 classes per day.
Okay. And
so there were 18 classes per day, and every gate was completely full. Yeah. Excuse me.
And it's 40 people to a gate.
40 people to a gate.
And it's a 3-moto format too, right?
2-moto. 2-moto. Well, no. It's actually like a supercross style. So you have a heat, an LCQ, and then a main.
And qualify. All right, gotcha. All right, so 40 guys on the gate. That's crazy. That's
on an uphill start.
Ruined a lot of pants.
Yeah. And
I'm not sure if I want the details on that, Brian.
You come off a concrete
pad.
Thank you. And you start going uphill, and then you make a left, and it's a long uphill. So if anybody's watching, or if you ever watched it, if you watch Mammoth Moto on YouTube or whatever, you'll see it. You'll see the uphill you start up, and then the downhill you come down. And it's pretty hairy. It's a long way down.
All right. So So let's talk about practice. Let's go with the youngster first. Brian, how did all your practice photos go?
Young.
Practice was good. I really didn't have any issues during practice. At this one, the previous years before I had done it, with practice, I had stayed out all day and rode like it was a whole Friday the day before the race, and I think I wore myself out in the previous year. This year, I kind of went in knowing about that, so I only practiced maybe the whole day. Maybe only did 30 minutes of actual ride time, and just kind of memorized the track more than anything.
Right.
They had a pretty big whoop section this last year that was tricky, so more focused on that than anything. Because other than that, the track is relatively unchanged in the past 50 years of the history of it. So I was mostly trying to ride whoops. And you had at that day, it happened to be McGrath was out there racing, so
Nice.
every once in a while mess your pants as he blew your doors off, which was exciting.
Yeah.
He
I
went
can
by you.
imagine.
When he passed you, you might as well have been riding with cinder block.
Yeah.
Because it was just,
Yeah.
it was amazing. It was amazing. Right.
And then you're caught with the dilemma of, do I just pull over and stop and watch him for a while, or should I keep riding?
Yeah.
We did.
All right. Well, so Eric, how did your practice go?
I mean, as good as it's going to be expected.
Yeah. I mean, but you hadn't been back into riding for a long time, so
I've been riding for about 2 years.
Yeah. So were you nervous
just
at all?
Just riding, local tracks and stuff like that. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Because it's not like you go out to your local track and there's 30, 40, 50 people out there. I mean, it's a lot of people, and it coupled with the whole fact that we built this whole Eric and Brian do Mammoth thing, and people
I
come
know.
up to us like, "Hey, you're the guys from Instagram," and we're like, "Really? Like, okay,
I don't know your name, but you're from Instagram.
So to go out there and just ride it. Once I got the first probably 2 laps in and kind of relaxed, I was like, okay, it was fun. You kind of enjoy the scenery and
Right.
ride.
And you guys didn't get to run practice together because you were running different classes.
Oh, you're right.
Right?
Yeah.
It was it's open practice.
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay. Well,
it's like it's a free for all of all the vets.
Wow.
The Friday practice, and it's kind of hairball. It's like very difficult to even just. It's almost like a follow the leader kind of situation around the track the day of practice. So. Yeah.
Well, okay. So since the track is kind of up in the mountains, so to speak, up in the hills, describe the track conditions, the dirt. What kind of dirt are we talking about? Because there are some of those all natural tracks that they got gnarly rocks that start coming up to the surface no matter how low groomed. So tell me about the dirt.
It's like having someone shoot a paintball gun at you for 25 minutes.
Yep.
Oh, jeez.
There's just tons of little granite rocks, and if you ever pop on and check out any of the race footage or anything, you can hear it in the GoPros, just little things going ping, ping, ping off helmets, off chest protectors. And your arms and shoulders, you get done with the race and you have little bruises all over yourself from the rocks. Yeah.
And how long is the track, give or take?
Ooh, that I have no idea on that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's pretty long.
About 2 minutes I was doing like 225 laps, I think is what it was.
Okay.
Mine are about 15-minute laps, so.
Yeah,
calendar.
To give people some reference, like River Valley how long is their night track, give or take?
Oh, Nico, you're on here. Come on.
Yeah,
we saw Nico.
That's what made me think of it. Because, there are a lot of people, especially the off-roaders, don't really know lengths very well. But I know that motocross tracks are like 1 mile to 2 miles long.
Yeah, really off the top of my head, I don't know.
I don't know how long.
Yeah, I know the full moto ended up being like, I think it was 17 or 18 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. And how many laps did you make then?
I don't know.
6, 7, 8?
I think it was
7 laps for the main.
7 laps.
Yeah.
7
Okay. All right. There you go.
Hold on. Brian didn't charge his phone, so excuse my hand.
That's okay. All right. Well, and you guys were there for the first week, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
You were there for all of it, and you didn't race till the second week?
No.
Do I have it right?
The
you
vets,
raced the first week.
So the vets are the first weekend. Yeah.
Okay.
So it starts on the Friday.
Yes.
Vets race Saturday and Sunday because it's a 2-day format.
Okay.
And then during the week it's like all the 85s, 50s, 65s.
Yeah. See, whereas Loretta's is different. You know, it's a week-long thing, and it's 3 days, 3 motos, and it's spread out among the 5 days, give or take. So, so your schedule was a lot more compact.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Looks like Eric McNeil Googled it for us.
Okay.
Just about a mile length.
Oh, okay. River Valley's a mile.
No, Mammoth was
Mammoth was a mile. Is it probably one of the most grueling miles you've ever ridden in motocross?
I mean, when it's fresh, it's actually really easy.
Yeah.
It's a pretty tame track.
Yeah.
But by the time you run all your motos and you're doing your mains at the end of the day, well,
Yeah.
I got main, Slowpoke didn't. But
It's because he's short.
by the time you get your main,
you're jumping the gun. I'm not talking about results yet.
Sorry.
But yeah, by the time you get to the mains of the track, it's like riding a whoop track. It's
Yeah.
just real big accelerating and braking bumps everywhere you go, and it's just tricky trying to find a line around the track.
All right. Well, you talked about the whoops and stuff. So between the two of you, Eric, what did you, besides the start, what was probably the most difficult section for you?
Jumps.
From the start to the end.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing. Yeah. For me, honestly, the most difficult part, man, probably just the altitude. You're up that high, and you're used to being in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
By the second day, when we ran our second day of racing, by my second heat, I was sucking wind, and I'm in reasonably good shape. And I trained for it. I ran, trained, and by the end of it, I was just like, okay, just survive. Because I mean, I was, it was rough.
Yeah.
And the whoops were challenging because they call them whoops, but to a guy like us, there's a freaking rhythm section. You double in, step up onto this thing, and then sing aloud or whatever you could do, whatever you could manage.
Mm-hmm. How many whoops in it? I mean, because Loretta's has the section of whoops that is just it will swallow you whole. You can stand in between whoops and disappear. Yeah. And there's if I remember correctly, 8 of them.
I think it was 2.
2, then a step up
to
and then I think it was a 6-pack after that. But the 6 afterwards were real large rollers. Like when you saw McGrath and Doug DeBach go through them, mm-hmm. they could carry the speed into where they could skim them. For us, it was more kind of face slapping them or kind of real manualing kind of through them. But
all right, well, so Ryan, what about you? You can either talk specifically about a section of the track or just the whole event. What was hard for you, or the hardest you felt like?
I always on the uphill. I usually have a bit of an issue coming up that. There's a section where you hook a good left and it flattens out for a second, and it's got kind of this weird little G out. And every time I hit that, I don't know if it's me or my little legs, I always get gooped up. And it's usually me just having to I usually end up running these hard lines, kind of on the side of the, if you ever see it, it's the right-hand side going up. You have this kind of chaparral desert bush cut stuff all over the side.
Oh, okay.
And I can usually wedge up right against that and hit a good smooth patch. And I just hunker down on that and try to go. And that usually works for me. So.
All right. So even though Brian kind of jumped the gun, what were the results? How did you guys finish?
That's a sore subject.
I know it is. I'm sorry, Eric.
That's rough.
I gotta do it. Sorry, bud. Because everybody wants to know.
So I went out and I had my achievable goal, and then I had my all right, that's big time. My big time was to make a main. I knew what I was getting myself into, and if I were to make out of 80 guys, if I'd make top 40, I'd be pretty pumped.
Heck yeah.
And then my realistic goal was just don't come in last in the heats.
See, I think my realistic goal would be come home with a still functioning motorcycle and bike.
Right. No, yeah, that's entirely true. So, I did. So we did the 2 days because you get, when you pay for it, you get day 1 and day 2. Both of them are completely separate races.
Okay.
And the first day I came in 19th because I was a spot out of making the main.
Oh man.
And oh man. But when our parents were pit boarding for us,
mm-hmm.
and when I came off the start, I was happy I was alive. And then when I came around 2 or 3 laps and I was coming down the freeway where there's these 2 kind of tabletops, my dad was standing there with the pit board. and he held out 21.
Oh,
And I was like, out of 40, like I might as well have just won Anaheim 1. And I was like, I'm done. I passed a couple guys and was just doing butt whips over the tabletops, just so excited.
Wait.
I think we have, if you watch, our video on YouTube, you'll see me coming off the track, and I'm kind of bumping my head. I'm laughing so hard because I had so much fun, and I'm screaming. And my mom's screaming at me. What they don't show is I was looking at my mom, and I grabbed my front brake. So after the first heat, I was pulling off and just did it in front of like the whole Monster Energy thing, just like ate dirt. But I didn't care. I was
there's
like,
your 2 seconds of fame, Eric.
Yeah, the whole drill with us going and this whole hoopla. The fact that I didn't come in last and finished top 20 at Mammoth in a heat, I was like, I'm good.
That's the cool thing, and especially once you get past your 20s in racing, you get you start realizing you soak in the moment for what it is, and you're able to appreciate the experience you're having and the fun that you're having.
Yeah, absolutely. It was so cool. It really was. It was definitely a bucket list item, and to be able to go out and do it and not come in last, I was like, woo! So, you're my age. It's okay. Everything's one piece. Everything still works. Pull off and go to the LCQ and have fun with it.
Because we always talk about when we crash now. I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna lay here and take inventory for a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start with my pinky toes, and if they're moving, I'm happy.
Yep. I figure if I wake up and something doesn't hurt, I better be dead. So.
No, you got to wake up and ask how your bike is. Yeah. Brian, tell us about your finish. How'd things go for you?
So I went with the goal to, I'm about to cry now.
This is a rough story.
So I went with the goal to win a bear, which is a top 10 at Mammoth, and get through my qualifiers better than I had any other year I did. And then in the main, I'm going around and I see a pit board pop up and it says I'm in 10th. And this is like the last 2 laps. So I'm like, I'm in the clear. I got this. I had a guy on a Yamaha on a YZ250 behind me.
No, the pit board said 9th.
Or no, the pit board said 9th?
Pit board said 9th.
Okay,
Big brother got to keep you in line.
Yeah, and anyways, so I knew I had a Yamaha behind me, but he was probably a solid about a turn back. And I was like, okay, I got this. And we get going, and we end up passing a guy, the downed rider, and I was like, okay, cool. Now I'm in 8th. This is sweet. Yamaha ends up catching me, getting by me. I'm like, I'm fine. I don't have to chase him. Cruise around the finish, get around. I go up like probably 30 feet behind that guy that passed me, and go up the finish line. I'm like cheering for myself, like revving my bike. I'm just stoked that I thought I won a bear.
Yeah. And we're like in tears because we're like, Brian won a bear. Like, oh my God. Like, we're just like, we're spraying water all over each other.
Right.
Get down, and turns out I was in 11th. So there was, it was
a sad day.
I don't get angry very often, but I took some beers and hiked off into the forest for a solid hour by myself.
There's a lesson to be learned there, but we'll talk about that on another day.
Yeah. I've seen your video with that talk about racing again.
Oh, what you talking about? So you raced the Futures at Supercross at AT&T Stadium.
Yeah.
Talk about that. Because I only saw you in gear. So, Eric, were you just pit?
I was moto dadding. I had no business being on a Supercross track.
Eric was being moto bro.
Oh yeah. I moto dad hard. I like that. Okay. That was my job.
I got a flat. He changed it for me, and I got to act like I was a pissed off moto kid. It was good.
Yeah.
Okay. Except for the fact that you were parked in the back North 40 and you were in a van. I saw that picture.
It wasn't a van.
Trailer?
It was a trailer.
Oh, it was a trailer? Okay.
Yeah.
With the generator, my Nintendo? Like, you're pretty legit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. We converted the trailer we got to go to Mammoth, and ended up putting a TV in it, one of those little room heaters with a fake flame on it. And
I won't throw shade anymore.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet. We got to play Nintendo the day before.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah. All right, well, so talk about the track. I mean, for those of us who ride, we know the difference between local tracks than outdoor national tracks because we have one here. What's the name of the track?
Oak Hill.
Oak Hill.
Or
No, well, Oak Hill, but
Oh,
also
Freestone.
Freestone. Yeah, so we've got a couple of national level tracks. And then we all know, because we've all walked probably at least one Supercross track, there's a huge difference. So we know what it's like looking at it on TV, and also if we've gotten to walk it. What's it like when you actually get on the bike and get on the track?
LJ.
We lost LJ.
Oh, crap. I'm buff.
Oh,
You're buffering. There we go. All right. What didn't you hear?
What's the difference between a
what's
Supercross track
like
and an outdoor?
Well, yeah, and I was talking about how, we've all had a chance to walk a track, but when you actually get on your bike and get on the track, talk about the difference there. There had to be some nerves, were there ever any, what have I gotten myself into?
So I never walked a Supercross track until I did that.
Oh, really?
No, and going into it, I didn't do really any practice for Supercross. I've done a few arena crosses and stuff, and going into it was more of just I wanted to ride a Supercross track. I grew up watching it.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity, and
It's in our backyard, might as well, right?
Yeah, and so that's really what it was. So went into it, and it was pretty intimidating walking into Jerry Dome when you walked it, because they walked us down a little chute on the side,
Mm-hmm.
and you walk through a little, it was essentially a garage door, and then you just walk into a massive stadium, and you see all the seats, and then you see the finish line, the start gate. It was pretty surreal.
Yeah,
cool.
I'll bet.
Mm.
So how did your first lap on the track go?
Knowing that I didn't have any expectation for it, it was pretty relaxed. The first realization that it was a Supercross track was when I rolled over the finish line, because I was just rolling everything, and they toned things down just a little bit. The whoops were toned down quite a bit, but they were still fairly large. But when I came across the finish line, I saw the face, and I just rolled up like I would roll a normal jump at River Valley that we ride every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when I rolled over, my bike hung up and teetered because the takeoff was that steep. And that was like the first time I was like, okay, I'm gonna need another pants again.
Yeah.
it hung up and it like teetered, and then kind of like it's like and popped over the backside.
Oh, wow.
And that was like that was the big moment where I was like, this is
Yeah.
I'm in over my head.
Well, so did you qualify?
Yeah, I qualified for the main. Yeah, and I did 2 classes, 30 plus and 35 plus. 30 plus, I was in a qualifying spot, and a guy fell right in front of me. I was playing follow the leader when I shouldn't have, and I got stuck under him, and damn my little legs, I couldn't get out quick enough to get going again. So
Yeah,
I understand that.
But 35, I qualified right in, and
Wow.
And like I said, there was a pro, Matt Byton. He was like an old freestyle pro and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He was in my class, so it was exciting getting lapped by him. But it was a good time.
Well, real quick before I go into our surprise, what are the similarities between the two of you and your riding styles? Do you guys have any similarities, or are they all differences?
I'm like 5'6" on a good day, and he's about 6'3".
I'm 6'3".
Okay,
So
okay. I'm not talking physical characteristics here.
We
ride completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, and I know you said nothing about size, but it has a lot to do with.
It does. It does.
The way he sits on a bike. Like when you watch him ride, it's pretty, because he's like designed for a motocross bike. And I watch him, I'm like, God dang it! Like I just wish I could look that cool,
Right.
And then when I ride, I'm taller, so I'm really having to adjust my body. And when I grip they say grip with your knees. Well, my knees are above the freaking seat, so I'm like, well, grip with my calves. And so there's not. I mean, you watch us ride, we look nothing alike at all.
People used to yell at me. They're like, LJ, get your foot out front, get it out there. Right
I'm trying.
The axle, and I go, it doesn't go that far.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I make it past the back part of the fender, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So I will admit, there are a lot of differences in turning technique and whatnot. But when we ride with family members, especially when we grow up riding together, sometimes there are some, tiny similarities, things that you notice that you're like, wow, yeah, they are related. Kind of
when
thing.
we talk crap to each other, it's pretty much the same thing over and over.
All right, I want to point one other thing out, then I'm going to hit you with the lightning round.
Sure. It is.
Okay. Eric, what's the deal? In all the pictures I'm looking at, you're on a different bike every picture. How many bikes? Do you change bikes every week or what?
I'm like multifaceted is really what it comes down to. So I started out, the bike I raced Mammoth on was Veronica, 16 Kawasaki.
Veronica?
Yeah, I named her Veronica. And then,
any particular reason?
no, I just like the name.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I just looked at her and I was like, you look like a Veronica. Okay, you're Veronica.
Okay. We'll go with that.
Yeah. When you're dating, it's really, you got to watch how you word that, you know. I'm going to ride Veronica. I'm like, huh? You know.
Took Veronica for a ride today.
So then the other bikes you'll see me on, I ride Brian's. He bought a KTM, so I rode that for a picture or two. And then our brother Wes, he bought a 2000 CR250, two-stroke. So I think there's a couple pictures of me on that.
Okay.
And so I recently just sold Veronica a couple days ago to a young guy up in Amarillo. So I am in the market to buying a new bike. So.
Did you at least do a background check on the guy to make sure he'd provide a good
Oh, I
home
told
for
him, like, right off the bat, I was like, hey, her name's Veronica, treat her right. That's a true story. I was like, no, you make sure you keep that name.
I believe it. All right. Well, I created a little lightning round for you, and all you guys have to do is point at yourself or point at the other one. Okay?
All right. You want to center this up so we can see each other?
Go with your first instinct. There's no hemming and hawing. You can't, think about it. Got to answer immediately. Okay? All right.
Go for it.
First off, who's better looking?
Look at this hair.
Look at that hair. All right. Okay. Who's faster? Who jumps better? Dang. Who's tougher? Who's better at gear choice? Who picks better gear and looks better in gear? Okay. Who corners better? Who rides the whoops or the rhythm section better?
You can't jump.
Tall guys ride whoops better. It's law.
Okay. Who picks better lines? Who's the better mechanic? Okay. Here's the tough one. Who's mom's favorite?
We can call her.
We can call her if you want.
What
So
is little brother?
our mom
I
actually
want to
has
see what little
nicknames
brother
for us.
says. What?
Our mom, yeah, I'm the good son. He's the sporty son, and then our younger brother Wes is the good-looking son.
Oh, okay. Well, we should have.
Which is weird. Yeah.
Dang. So, do you guys have any? I always ask riders for advice for other people. I get that question a lot. Of course, it is from women, but it's also from people in general who are beginning or things like that. Because you guys said, "Hey, let's go race Mammoth."
Yeah.
And a lot of people probably looked at you and thought y'all were crazy. So, so do you have words of advice, thoughts, just anything you want to share? Because, we all are faster than somebody. We're all slower than somebody.
Yeah.
So whether we want to acknowledge it or not, we're all role models for somebody. So
that's scary.
I know, right? I know, especially if they think they're supposed to grow their hair like Brian's.
I know.
So what would you tell, just let's say you got a guy who's 30, 35, comes in the shop or whatever and wants to start riding.
Just have fun.
Have fun.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to talk to people, because most 90% of people at the track or at the off-road races, they're going to be happy to help you out. They don't want you, no one wants to see someone down on the ground. Everyone wants to see you having a good time. It's a friendly sport. And I think a lot of people see a lot of bro-y mentality on TV and certain movies and stuff where everyone's out here just having a good time.
Yeah.
You just need to open up and go say hi to people, and people are going to be willing to help you out.
Mm-hmm.
Our trailer is always open. Anyone needs a hand or tools,
yeah, absolutely.
thing's always open.
Definitely. Eric, what about you?
I agree. I mean, I agree. Just have fun with it. Especially in the in our age bracket, there is no reason for any of us to be doing something stupid. So, if I go out and I feel like jumping or doing something, I'll do it. But on most days, I'm like, I got to go to work the next day.
Right.
you know, there's certain jumps I'm like, yeah, I could probably knock God knows how long off our lap times, but am I making any money? No.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and is it really worth taking home a little wooden trophy? No.
No.
Like, so I just go out and, you know, we have fun and just cruise around, and you can't drink beer if you got broke hands. So
True. Of course,
you got to live life.
you know, I look at it like, gee, I just would really like to get out of bed in the morning, and you know, so I know it's got to be cool having your bro with you. You guys got any more plans? Any more fun trips or stuff? What else is on the bucket list? It can be dirt bike wise, non-dirt bike, together. What else do you want to do?
I still got an itch to kill a bear, hunt a bear.
Okay, so you want to go back to Mammoth?
Yeah. So there was a plan to go back again this year, but with everything going on, then the race being canceled officially as of like last week.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna happen. So Mammoth 21, it's gonna be Eric and Brian do Mammoth 2021. It's gonna be that's probably priority number one right now.
Absolutely. We made you probably Supercross next year.
And yeah, probably
Supercross Futures. We'll get out there and do that again.
Yeah.
I'll probably do that one.
Baby bro says you want to surf.
Oh yeah, Eric wants to surf.
Oh no,
no,
I can't surf. I can do anything on a board, but I can't surf. So yeah, baby bro, thanks Wes.
Gotta love it. That's great. Oh,
and our younger brother Weston's actually recently single. So if anyone,
if anybody wants to,
okay.
He looks like a cross between us.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's good or bad.
I think Wes may come out and do Mammoth with us.
Okay.
So we'd love to have him because, you know, at the end of the day, we're brothers, and that's what we're here for.
That's cool. That's very awesome. We've got a few minutes. Anybody got questions? Any kind of shade?
Oh, that was a bad idea.
Any kind of shade or crap you guys want to throw at Eric and Brian, feel free to sling it on out there. But remember, we are a family channel.
We are a family show.
It's okay.
And if we're waiting, we had a lot of people help us out.
Oh.
A lot of people help us out. So, I mean, I think we owe it to them. Whole Shot Coffee.
Please, sound off.
Send us a bunch of coffee, which is awesome. And they donate to, I believe it's Road to Recovery.
Yeah.
Which is huge. So, and then Vital Ink Tattoo. They're the ones who did our helmets. Okay. If you haven't looked at our Instagram, our helmets look like Maverick from Top Gun and Iceman from Top Gun.
Are they?
What does Eric say? What hurt worse, Leavenworth Mammoth or losing to me at Mountain Creek? River Valley MX, Bailey and Nico, Vibes Designs. They're like family to us. We ride there almost every weekend, and they treat us so good every time we go out there. Nico cut our graphics for us and made sure we look good. Oak Hill MX, they helped us out. Every time we went out there, they knew. You know, it was kind of weird. We go up to these tracks and people walk up to us, hey, you're the guys from Instagram. And, hi. We're slow, but we have an Instagram account.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing is people saw you guys doing it, and they're like, hey, those are normal guys just like me.
And I think that's why we kind of, a lot of people kind of related to us because, you know, we're just a couple of workhorses. You know, we have daytime jobs and, you know, just out there. Who else helped us out?
Yeah,
Fast House and Bell. Mikey got us geared up, and so
that's pretty cool. It's an awesome experience.
It really was.
Well, just so everybody knows, this will stay up for 24 hours. Then when it comes down, I'll post it on my YouTube channel. The link is in the bio. But also a big shout out to all of our local shops who are helping us out, our local tracks who do take care of us and whatnot. And support locally if you can. I know we all get all kinds of deals off of Rocky Mountain and whatnot, but you know, our dealers take care of us too. So try to support them. And just remember, it's all about having fun and you know, doing it. If you can do it with family, that's even better. And the best part is, we all have dirt in our blood, so we're all family one way or another. So
that's a fact.
You know, but guys, I really thank you. This was really cool, Eric. It was a great idea. I'm glad you had it.
Good. Thank you for having us on. That was awesome.
Oh yeah, you're welcome, you guys. Be safe.
LJ, 1 second. I see one of the guys were what hurt worse, the 11th at Mammoth, or losing to me at Mountain Creek. That was my buddy Eric. I lost to him at a mountain bike race in September because my bike broke. So. He only won.
Didn't really win.
He only won because of a mechanical.
Okay, it's just a technical win. That doesn't count.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Hey, y'all, remember, any day we get to ride is a great day. So let's all live to ride another day, y'all. Take care and be safe. Thanks, fellas.
Hey, thanks a lot.
There you go.
Appreciate you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right. Okay, guys, that was fun. Thanks for everybody for joining in, and we'll see you next Monday night live at our normal time at 7:30. And take care, y'all.